Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Primetime Patriots. Yes, I do have guests with me, but I decided to come on here first and say hi to everybody. What is up? Hi, Karen. Hi, Ken. Hi, Vance. Hi, Lori. Thank you for sending love from Sacramento. I feel like we don't get a lot of love from Sacramento, so I can always count on you to give us love from Sacramento. Appreciate it. Hey, if y'all can take 2 seconds, share this video, please. This is going to be a great live, very informational. I've got an amazing guest with me tonight, so please take a second and share this video and then give me the thumbs up and the hearts. Let's break the algorithm so we can get some more viewers on here. Let's try to get as many Patriots on as we can. Hello, Nikki. Hello, Bonnie. Thanks for tuning in, Ken. What's up, everybody? Hey. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to bring on Mr. Joel Campbell himself and the one that y'all love, Lucas Thompson, because I feel like you guys want to replace me with him, but it's fine. I don't blame you. He's a smart dude. I get it. I don't blame you. It's okay. What's up, guys?
How's it going?
Hey, Kaylee, where'd your rap go? You were going to do a little Eminem.
Oh my gosh. Okay. What was it again? I already forgot.
Because nobody wants to see Kaylee no more. They want Lucas. I'm chopped liver.
Yeah. So if you want Lucas, this is what I'll give you right here.
And then there you go. So we were close. Yeah, right. I don't think anybody wants to see just this. There you go.
It was good though. I came up with the rap. Y'all be proud, okay?
She did, and it was a good one. I said, you got to put that on your show. My mom would get a kick out of it because she's always liked Eminem. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Anyway, sorry, we're starting off not focused here. All right, I'm going to let Joel introduce himself. Many of you have seen him before. I've had him on my show before. This is Joel Campbell. I'm going to let you guys know. I'm going to let him tell you what he's running for. Yeah, I'll just let you do it, Joel. Go ahead.
Hey everyone, can you hear me, Kaylee?
Yes, sir.
All right. Hey, guys. How's it going? Thank you for having me on again. I really appreciate it. It's been a little bit. A lot's happened since you've had me on. I'm Joel Campbell, by the way, running for City Council District number 7 in Topeka, Kansas. A big reason I wanted to, ask you to come back on again is because a lot of people thought that I dropped out of the race. My Facebook was gone. So was my city council page on Facebook. And I ended up getting nuked, for lack of a better term. I faced a permanent ban and I lost the appeal. And it was for a post I made last August of 2020, because the bots are just going around nuking people who think just to the right of Bernie Sanders. And that's what happened to me. So along with my Facebook page, right? I know. Rights and stuff, free speech. So along with my page, I lost my city council page as well. So I was really unfortunate. Still trying to make a new one. I'm going to make a new one, but I don't know if with the election being so close, I'm not even sure if it's worth it. It could be gone again soon, but I'm thinking about doing it. So yes, I am still running, still planning to win this election. Just Facebook wants to make it a little bit harder to reach my constituents.
Well, we got your back, brother. I know I kind of noticed that you dropped off and I was like, what's going on with Joel? And then you told me that today and I was like, oh, Facebook is so nice, isn't it? Don't you love it?
That was I was on since the beginning, and it's not just the trolling that I used to do. I had tons, hundreds and thousands of pictures and stuff on there of my kids and everything, just all gone in an instant, like 15 years of memories of me growing up from college until now. And since they didn't give you a warning, you can't log in and save your photos and everything. It's just everything wiped out, which was pretty unfortunate, because I used that as kind of my backup. So that's all right.
Gosh. Wow.
Ridiculous.
Okay, Joel, why don't you tell the viewers why you decided to run for city council? Because I think we're in a time right now where so many people are stepping up because we feel like we have to. We're the people we've been waiting for. We're at that point now where we need to start filling some of these higher roles with people who are not there to be bought by government money. They're there to make a difference. So give us a little bit of backstory on why you're running for city council.
I've always been somewhat semi-political. And of course, 2016 kind of changed things for a lot of people. And so I started to get more and more political as the years went on when Trump was in office. And of course, last year was absolutely terrible, right? And there was a lot of fighting amongst Americans and stuff like that. People who think, Biden's the best and people who think Trump is the best. And I have to admit, I was one of the people who I love to troll. I love to get underneath people's skin. I thought it was fun and everything. And then, the whole last summer with all the BLM riots, just the country took a turn for the worst. And I thought to myself, what can I do to make things better? And I just started reading. I started reading a ton of different local articles and what ways I could get involved. And I stumbled upon the city council page, realized that my district was up for re-election in 2021. I said, what better way to help my community than to serve them under city council? And so that's when I started looking into it and what it would take. And that's kind of what drove me to run, because I think that Topeka can be a good place to live. Right now, I don't think that it is. And I think that one of the biggest reasons is our government officials are failing us. And the stats are there to back it up. So I want to change that.
I wonder how many people on here can agree with that in their own communities.
Yeah.
Probably everybody.
Absolutely.
Maybe not in Florida. I don't know.
I like what you said there, Joel, about being in service. So first, let me say hi to everybody, Jan and Rose and everybody that said hi, Ken, everybody. I've known Joel for a long time. We used to work together. We worked in a union environment, and we were in management in a union environment, frontline management. And any of you that have either been managers in that kind of situation or been part of a union in a union shop, that relationship cannot exist without service, without the manager being a service type of leader. A servant leadership is the only kind of leadership that works in a union environment. It just is what it is. And I know more than anybody on here probably how much of a servant type leader Joel is. He's worked in some of the toughest areas in that facility, and the people who work with him, that report to him, would all attest that when it comes to service, Joel completely understands what that means. He knows what it means to lead by service. So that's what I want to ask you as we kind of get started with that backdrop. As you look around the city of Topeka, and maybe even a little deeper into Shawnee County, or the state of Kansas for that matter, it seems to me that servant leadership has gone away some time ago. People are in it for themselves. They're in it for their careers, right, left, and middle.
Yes.
And we've gone from a place where the farmer would be picked by his community to represent them in the legislature. And so he would go, albeit reluctantly, do his duty, and then go home. He was there to serve people. Now we have a bunch of advertisers and a bunch of people with aspirations, and I think that the constituents are the ones falling behind, and City of Topeka is no different. So let's say you get elected to that council position. What just talk about a couple ways that you might try to encourage the folks around you to become servant leaders, to hear out their constituents, to listen, to understand, and hopefully improve the situation in Topeka.
Yeah, it's funny you bring some of those points up, and thank you for that nice introduction, Lucas. I really do appreciate it. It was great working with him, by the way. We didn't get to work together.
I was wondering if you needed a Kleenex. You need a Kleenex? He said a lot of things that probably got you in the feels right there. So I was going to come in with the mom Kleenex.
We had some good conversations over the days, and it was a fun time. It really was.
Yeah. But along with that, some of the things that you said really resonated with me, and I some of the articles that I brought up that I wanted to discuss on your show. The data I was able to get most recently from 2019, that 2 of the 5 highest paying employees in Topeka are the city manager and the deputy city manager. And I guarantee you that, probably 90 to 95% of the people in Topeka have no idea what they do or how they serve our community. And yet the highest paid person is the city manager at over $200,000 a year. And coming in 5th is the deputy city manager. So a lot of this money is being, well, what are these guys doing to make our city better? Why are we paying our city council $20 grand a year and our mayor $40 grand a year to basically, it seems, I don't want to say do nothing, but there's a problem when you look at adjusted for geographical location or how big it is. Topeka is in the top 10 on worst roads in America. Topeka is also in the top 10 in crime per capita. Those are two of the biggest things, citizens' concerns is, how good are my roads and how good is my crime? When Topeka is in the top 10 of the worst in both of those categories. At the same time, we have one of the highest tax rates in the entire country. So where are taxes going if that's the case? Why are there I think the last thing I looked is there's 39 different openings for Topeka City Police. No one wants to work in the police force anymore, especially after what happened last year. These are questions that need to be addressed. What are these guys doing to better serve us? Why are we paying them such a high salary? One of my positions, which I'm going to hand out whenever I do my mailers, is I would like to, because I think it's way too much of a salary, donate a portion of my salary every single year back to my district to some type of cause. I would like to get some input on the people that live in my district on where they think the money should go, because I want to pour some of those tax dollars right back into the people to show them that I'm, truly concerned about the state of our city, and I want to help to the best of my ability.
That's fantastic. And you're right. It seems like we have the argument. So I do this 5 why challenge a lot with people when they ask questions and they don't really know the answer. I say, keep asking why, and like a toddler, till you get to the real root cause. And so when we say, why is the city manager paid so much money? Well, they'll say, well, because he has so much responsibility. Why does he have so much responsibility? Because we shifted the responsibility away from the city council. Why did we do that? Because the city council wasn't responsive to the voters. And a city manager is? I mean, it's proven very clearly in the city of Topeka that the last few or more city managers we've had have been ineffective at listening to the constituents, improving the roads, improving the crime, doing the things that they should be doing as city managers. And what do we do to repay them? We pay them more and more money. And they say, well, when we say, why do you keep paying them so much more money every time we get a new city manager? Because that's what it takes to draw them to Topeka. And not only that, now they want to remove the requirement that the city manager even live in the city of Topeka. Why? Because nobody wants to live there. Why? Because you're not doing anything to make it better. And that's the problem. And once upon a time, we had 3 commissioners that ran the whole county, including the city of Topeka. And back then, you'll hear a lot of the old timers. That's what I like to call them. It's somewhat pejorative. I apologize. But you'll hear a lot of the old timers say things ran better back then. So maybe what we really need is a very clear overhaul of the entire system, and we need to look at something better overall.
I just want to say something really quick before we continue on. I know that not everybody that's watching, a good majority of the people that are watching right now, are not from Topeka, Kansas. What I am inviting you to do is listen to the conversation and understand that it is not only happening in Topeka, Kansas, it is happening in cities everywhere around the country. And it is important for you guys to write down these questions and start asking questions to your representatives, your leaders. You don't have to be from Topeka, Kansas to get something out of this live. So I want to encourage y'all to stay and listen, because it's very important that you hear this information.
And that's why we did this. I like Joel. I know Joel. I wish him the best. I hope that he gets some support from some of the people watching in Topeka. And I hope that Topeka can change, and I hope Joel can help that. But the biggest reason that we wanted to bring him on this particular platform, which is more of a national platform, is because he's from everywhere USA. Every big city, particularly the capital cities, from large cities like Baltimore down to medium-sized cities like Topeka, and every city in between. Lansing, Michigan is a very good example that I'm keenly familiar with. All of these cities are in similar boats. And the reality is, people like Joel have to step up, and we've got listeners on here right now. You guys, we've all got to do our part and step up to say we can either continue to complain, or we can start being that change. And Kaylee is really big about talking about being that change. And there's a lot of people watching that want to be the change. And so if nothing else, hopefully what Joel is saying and doing will encourage those of you watching. If you just need that little extra oomph, or you just want to know how to do these things, that's why we bring Joel on here, so he can talk about his story, talk about what he wants to do, and you guys can take that and use that in your own lives, in your own cities.
Amen. Joel, I know you wanted to talk about a couple other things. I didn't really get to talk to you much before the show. So if you want to bring up a couple of different topics, we can. Yeah, Lucas was jacking his jaws. Let's be honest about it. If you want to bring up a couple different topics, we can all conversate on it, or you can just, do your thing, man. This is your platform for the night.
Sure. One other thing I wanted to bring up, especially local, by the way, is when Lucas was talking about to me backstage about how he was starting to get involved and he would read and find out all the corruption that was going on in the city. But you really, really have to dig. And when I first started digging, one of the things that I saw that I really want to point out is the incumbent, my opponent, is CEO of a company who is involved in some type of like construction and reorganizing things like that. I don't want to name the company. And they got a contract for $15 million from the city of Topeka to monitor Wanamaker and figure out, what was wrong with Wanamaker, because it's in terrible condition. If you've ever been to Wanamaker Road, it's absolutely just atrocious to drive on. You want to stay away from it.
I can attest to that. Don't drive a new car on Wanamaker, period.
Right? Ever. And you're going to be stuck there for an hour. It's a small road. Spent $15 million on that to determine basically that the road was busy. I think that was really the only thing that they came from of it. And they also came out with a report saying that they can fix it to where Wanamaker can hold the traffic in the city's current growth, which is negative, by the way, until 2040. So that was great. That was a great use of our
based
money.
on models where the city's population is shrinking, we can hold it till 2162.
That was a really great use of $15 million, I must say.
Mm-hmm.
And that's par for the course in that city. And you guys, so there's people talking about cities that they're from or towns that they're from. Everybody's got the same story, right? It's these folks that get into power. They figure out, you know what? I can award this contract without anybody's help over to my buddy over here, or heck, to myself, and nobody can stop me. Nobody can do anything about it. As long as I say it's tied to something that I can tie back to the law or the power source, nobody can touch me. Ethics in government don't exist. And because of that, things like this happen where, like Joel said, somebody that's literally on the city council, his company can get awarded a $15 million contract to study traffic of the busiest road in the city. Ridiculous.
Yeah, and you don't think, I guess I was naive before and thinking that these things really didn't happen too much on a local level, but it's rampant and it's everywhere. So, I appreciate you guys having me on, because I guarantee you the people that are watching, it's happening in your city. Stuff just like this. All you have to do is read, and you will find something.
I do have a question about that, Joel, because you mentioned, when you first started out, it was hard to find factual information because, let's be honest, the media is biased. They're everything is left leaning. They portray things in a different light. So how did you go about like getting actual factual information that wasn't spun by a narrative?
Mm-hmm. Sure. That's a great question, by the way. And I want to give a shout out to somebody so I'm back up a little bit. I haven't really been supported too much by my friends and family on this political run. I don't know why, but and that's okay. The people that have supported me most are, you and Lucas, obviously, who I haven't seen in about 5 years. And then a bunch of internet strangers, to be honest with you. People that I've connected through, some on Facebook, not so much because a lot of those groups have been nuked. But, Telegram is a great place to hang out. If you guys don't have Telegram, please get it. Download it from the site. Don't download it from the App Store, or you're going to be missing a lot of stuff. There's my shameless plug for the day.
I can attest to that, Joel, because I literally have family on the internet that I've never met, but I know they have my back. So I get it. I completely understand. I do.
So in a long-winded answer to your question, there's this girl that I met on, it was actually a weightlifting channel on Telegram, because we shared the same interest in lifting. So Rachel, if you're watching, hi, I know she is. So and so I told her I was running for city council, and she said that was awesome, and she shares a lot of the same views that I have. And just so happens that she can computer dissect anyone, and she's really good about digging out information. So I was kind of lucky to find out all this. I told her about some of the problems that we were having in Topeka. I told her about my incumbent, gave her his name, and she could pull up tons and tons of articles on him and what he does and where he works, what his company's done for the city of Topeka. And so I was really lucky in that aspect. But I guess a good answer would be to don't look to mainstream media. To go and find information. Don't use CNN. Don't use your local newspaper. Sometimes they get lucky. Don't use Fox News either. Don't use Google, for goodness sake. If you're going to search something, do not use Google. My recommendation is DuckDuckGo, and you're going to find a lot better answers there, or a lot less biased answers. Let's put it that way.
Totally agree 1,000%. You did get lucky, but I don't really believe in luck. I think it was like the right timing for you to be running, and I think you got a little blessings coming your way. I think that's what it is. I believe in all that stuff. I don't know.
I think it's funny you say that about friends and family. Listen, we all know that at some point it's hard to perform miracles in your hometown, right? So the old adage goes, and that's because it's a lot easier to be negative about things and about people than it is to be positive. However, what you're doing that speaks more than volumes is something. You're putting your face out there, your neck out there, putting yourself on the line, risking, ridicule if nothing else, to attempt to do something better for your city. You're not going to get anything out of it. You're not some guy that's going to get a $15 million contract for your company. You're doing it 100% to try to improve your city. And if I know you, my guess is that's because you want to be there for a long time. You anticipate living there for a long time, probably raising your kid there, and maybe more children. I don't know, but certainly your goal is to stay there and you want to improve the city. And if nothing else, that's what we need more of. We need more people who are truly interested in making the cities better, making their area better, than making themselves better. And I wish that we could. I think it's getting easier with social media and with people like Rachel that can dig into things and find out more about people. But there's way too many people that run just for the sake of improving their wallet, whether it's from the salary they get there or from how that'll impact the rest of their life and the money that they can make or their influence on people or whatever. And it's unfortunate. So I'm glad that you're an example of somebody who's not doing that. And you talk about giving some of your city council salary, which I can tell you all is not very much money anyway, but giving some of that back to the city. I mean, there's things like the Topeka Housing Trust Fund that, the goal is eventually to use some of that money to kind of help some of the blighted areas. Anything that can help people who are most vulnerable in the city and grow the workforce overall is a good thing. And, I applaud you for that. But I do have a question. I'm all ranting and stuff aside. I have another question for you. First of all, when is the election?
Okay, so the election is, we skipped the primaries. That's why if you were from Topeka, I wasn't on the primary because there were just two of us running, the incumbent and I, which I find hilarious, by the way, because when it first came out that I was running, about 7 or 8 people at least said that they were going to run against me to stop me from getting to city council. And apparently I found out it's harder than just writing your name down on a piece of paper. So it's just the incumbent and I in the general, and that will be the first Tuesday this November.
Okay, fantastic. Second, before we go too much further, how could we support you financially if we wanted to? Now that Facebook's been taken down and whatever else, do we have a link, Kaylee, that you could put up, or some information maybe you could put up that we could send people to Joel? Because you guys know how I am. I think money is a tool, and in order to be victorious in these situations and put these people in the positions that we think we want them in, it takes money. So how can we support you, Joel?
So I have never once asked for any donation, so I do appreciate it. If you guys want to, that would be great. I'll put that to good use. So my Venmo and my PayPal are both at Real Joel Campbell, RealJoelCampbell. That's for both. So that is Venmo and that is my PayPal if you choose to donate. And that's really all I set those up for, was to to receive donations, but like I said, I haven't. I thought that I could do a lot of it on my own, which has been proved to be a little difficult. I do appreciate the Topeka Capital Journal for kind of boosting my career in this direction when they probably meant to tank it, right? Because I'd recently been on NPR. I mean, what city council member or candidate has made it to NPR and had the NPR interview them on a national article?
Yeah.
Well, this guy has. So a lot of people are terrified of me running, and I think that's a good thing. I have a friend who has a friend on the city council board, and he asked, what do you think about this Joel Campbell guy running for council? Because that guy doesn't know that we know each other. And he said that they're at lunch, and his head just kind of hung, and he let out a big sigh. And all he says was, I don't want to talk about it. So they are terrified. The city, the Antifa, showed up at my doorstep. They don't want me to run. They literally showed up at my doorstep. I've made it on their national Twitter. The city council right now, they don't want me to run. So that's probably a good thing, because all these people do not want you to rock the boat. They have it nice and simple, and their pockets are lined. And here comes this guy who wants to give the city back to the people.
And that's exactly what they need.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm sure that once you're in, they'll try to make it difficult for you to do anything while you're in. And, round and round we go. But it's one of those things. That's why I say I applaud you for being willing to step up and do something when it's becoming easy in this day and age to talk, and I am very guilty of that myself, doing a lot of talking. You're stepping up and doing something, and I greatly respect that. So in that regard, is there a particular thing that you think you would do or attempt to do as soon as you're on the council, once you're elected? What's one of the first things that you intend to dig into, look into, or maybe even effectuate some change? What's your first big major issue?
One of the first issues is I want to know why we, go with the lowest bidder for these road companies and get crap for it, and then we don't use the whole entire fund, and that's the biggest problem that I have, to find out where that money's going. And it's not just for the roads, but that's an easy one for people to relate to, right? We spend all these taxes for these different type of projects. We don't use the entire tax money for the bid. Where does the rest of that money go? And Topeka is really good about hiding this money and trying to figure out where it goes. Is going to be tough, and I might not be able to do it, but I'm going to certainly try to figure that out. I'd like to know why the salaries for the city government is so high. And I know it'd be tough to probably try to slash them, but I think it should be out in the open how much these people make. And they're not very, you can go research it, but they're definitely not going to just open up and tell you how much they make. These are some of the things I want to kind of attack, is find out, where is this money going? Why are we one of the highest tax counties in America? Yet we have some of the worst roads and worst crime. Which is a big thing that I have a problem with, which is something else that I want to focus on, is the crime in Topeka as well. Yeah.
And I know we've had some law enforcement leadership turnover in Topeka over the last 10 years. And, crime and law and order is one of those things that takes a big culture change to go in one direction or the other. And I'm assuming, without any facts or evidence to show you right now, but I'm assuming that it's part of that is the reason why we've had such difficulty. There's also probably socioeconomic reasons why crime is up in Topeka and, everything else. If you don't have anywhere to work, I mean, it just stands to reason that there's going to be crime and there's going to be difficulty. But, I think you're right. I think that Topeka is like a lot of other capital cities. They've grown in their government infrastructure. They've grown in the number of government positions. They grow in the number of government employees regularly, but they don't grow where there's production. They don't grow in private industry. They don't grow where people actually make something that somebody wants. There's a whole lot of non-value added jobs that that your tax dollars are going to, and I pray that by the time you're elected, you get in there and have an opportunity to dig into some of that and make some change. And I know you will.
Yeah. And right on that. So we talked about the city payroll, the top people that are being paid. 3 of the top 6 are actually 2 police sergeants and the police chief. as far as the highest paid. Yet we have 30 some odd jobs open on our police force here in Topeka. And I don't think that it's really the police that are solely to blame for our crime in Topeka. And I don't want to blame it on just the guns either. I think it's a lot of lack of information, a lack of education. One of the other things I would like to do is to get some type of program where the police and the community kind of come together and have some type of, classes, some type of meet and greet, maybe even get it into the public education system to where if you think of a policeman can, if a kid can put a face to a police officer, every single kid, imagine how many kids you're trying to expose the police to. You grow up with a little bit more respect just internally, just naturally, by doing that, more education on that front. And I think that we see a lot of the crime go down because most of your gun crime boils down to it's all drugs. It's all right. It's drug trafficking. It's very rarely something else. So we can snuff that out. Topeka doesn't have to be in the top 10 in crime per capita like it is now.
I agree wholeheartedly, and I know that you're right about that because we took gifts to our local police officers, and my 4-year-old says every time we see a cop, he says, the chief of police told us that we should wave at the police officers. So he waves at all of them, and literally and we were there 5 minutes, but it made a huge difference to him, and your kids never forget it. They never forget it.
True.
I agree 100%.
Same. I'll never forget the first time that I got to sit in a police squad car. I was maybe 5 or 6 years old, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Right, and it does. I think it resonates really good with little kids. You start young, and you can you have a lot better chance of them staying off the street, staying out of the jails.
And I don't know any police officers who look at high crime as being job security. It's their community. They look at their community and they say, there's a lot we want to do about this. And I guarantee you, if you listen to these police officers, they've got some ideas, whether it's recidivism based on a crappy criminal justice system, or, there's numerous reasons why why crime can go up in a locality, in a jurisdiction. And I have a feeling, because I know a lot of the police officers in Topeka, a lot of them are very, very keenly aware of the contemporary politics and everything else. I think that'd be a great place to start, is talking to some of these police officers, finding out what they think, and bending their ear a little bit, because they're more than willing to talk as much as they can when they have good ideas. And a lot of them have really, really good ideas. Because again, like I said, it's their community too. They want it to be better. They want it to get better. They don't want to have to worry about, violence against them because, drug violence has taken off. So, there's plenty that can be done. And again, it's another thing I really hope you're able to help improve for that community, just like every other community out there right now. So good luck.
Joel, I'm going to let you add anything else you want to add before we jump off of here, and make sure after you're done with that, you let everybody know how they can follow you, because I know Facebook has been a pain in the butt for you. So I don't know if that's really an option, but
it seems like Joel has told me I should get Telegram or something recently. So maybe Telegram.
Telegram, get it. If you don't have it, get it.
I'm definitely not plugging Telegram here, but one of the best ways to find out information and to communicate with me is Telegram. So if you don't have it, please, for the love of God, what are you doing? Go quit watching me and go get Telegram.
Yes, duh.
I'm on Facebook still, so now it's JW Campbell. So the algorithms and the bots haven't caught up to me just quite yet. I have not made a new city council page, but if I do, I'll make that public for anyone who hasn't added me as a friend or hasn't followed me. So you can hopefully follow me on there, because I need to get that done before I start sending out my signs, my mailers and stuff, so I can better connect with the people. Because let's face it, unfortunately, Facebook is such a tech giant that you can't beat it. You're not going to reach near as many people on Telegram or something like that than you will Facebook. So you kind of have to succumb to the beast as of right now. But once this election is over, I hope to disappear from Facebook for a while, because it is pretty cringe.
I feel that. We want to go too, but we have so many followers.
I've been off Facebook
get somewhere
since
that
June.
We have to get somewhere that has similar features. That's it. I mean, hopefully. soon.
But that's all I have. I really appreciate you having me on your show again, and thanks a lot, guys.
Absolutely, Joel. Good luck to you, man. We're praying for you. Topeka deserves you and needs you desperately. So, however we can help in the coming days, let us know, and we will do it.
Thank you.
That's
Lucas, what do you got to
Joel.
say?
Joel Campbell, running for District 7 City Council in the city of Topeka, Kansas. So our former hometown, Topeka, Kansas. Joel Campbell, 7th District City Council. Support Joel if you agree with the idea of putting like-minded folks in positions of government at all levels. Good luck to you, Joel. Thank you so much for joining us. We wish you the best, and as always, give me a call anytime, brother.
Thank you, guys.